Hello and a very good morning to all of you. It's Tuesday the 15th of September. Welcome to Take Stock Market Open. I'm Taha Siddiqui.
And I'm Zain Suhrawadi. We'll start off today by taking a look at this week's performance of the local equity market. It has been a good two, three weeks for the local bourse, mainly based on foreign investor interest, which has been seen at the local equity market. If we give you some analysis on numbers which have been coming in the previous week alone, we saw about $28.6 million worth of buying coming in from foreign investors in the local equity market on the entire month. As far as the month of September is concerned, the first 14 days of this particular month, we've seen about $114 million worth of investment coming in from foreign investors in the local equity market. However, yesterday, once again, we did see the market, although closing on a positive note, slightly in the positive, close 16 points up. But as far as the foreign element of buying and selling in the market is concerned, as far as NCCPL data is concerned, we saw about $1.1 million outflow yesterday coming in after a long time on account of foreign investors in the local equity market, giving indication that some amount of profit taking did come in yesterday from the foreign players. However, that was mainly absorbed by local participation in the market, which eventually helped the Karachi stock market KSE 100 index to close 16 points in the positive, still above the 9,000 psychological level, closing at 9,075 points, 117.8 million shares being traded at the KSE 100 index yesterday. The KSE 30 index yesterday, however, closing 22 points from the negative 9,676 point level, was the closing 82.6 million shares being traded there, whereas the KMI 30 index closing on a negative note as well, down by 19 points, 13,395 point level, 37.1 million shares being traded on the KMI 30 index. Overall activity once again was seen in the banking sector, the fertilizer sector, as well as the E&B sector stocks in the local equity market. Ready market volumes did also see a further decline, as opposed to about 210 million shares on an average in the last week. We saw the first trading session of this particular week only having total volumes of 144.495 million shares, and low volumes were pretty evident from the beginning of the day yesterday, when we saw some lackluster approach in the market towards the beginning of the day. Of course, some foreign selling came in the market as well absorbed by local participation in the market. However, all in all, it wasn't that major a day as far as volume in the market are concerned. And as we proceed towards the end of this week, expectations are that volumes will further decrease, as next week this week we'll be having Friday off on account of Jumatul Wida, and the next week Eid holidays coming in as well, so some profit taking element could be coming into the market.
Because this is an overbought market, we all know that, and foreign investors have been quite active for the past few trading sessions. In fact, for the past few months they have been active. So foreign selling element coming forward yesterday at the local equity market. Now let's not forget that the overall market capitalization is also on a somewhat healthy note. It gained by almost 0.15% yesterday, and currently the market capitalization is standing at 2.638 trillion rupees. Now yesterday the market did open roughly around 40 points in the positive zone. It remained in the positive zone, but towards the end we did see the element of profit taking striking the local equity market. So on the back of that, it did minimize its gains and eventually closing just 16 points in the positive zone. And taking a look at the volumes for yesterday, volumes were also, as I mentioned, volumes were quite on the lower side. Turnover did shrink yesterday, but Bank Al Falah clinching that top spot, and it had more than 11 million shares being traded. It closed at 12 rupees 94 paisas after gaining by 34 paisas yesterday. Park PT on the second spot, it gained 22 paisas yesterday, having only 11 million shares being traded. It closed at 5 rupees 24 paisas. Arif Habib closed at 38 rupees and 65 paisas with 7 million shares. It gained by 34 paisas in the first trading session. DGK Cement, however, lost almost 32 paisas yesterday. It had 6 million shares closing at a level of 35 rupees and 3 paisas, while OGDC, which recently has made 2 new discoveries in oil, it closed at 112 rupees and 60 paisas after gaining by 50 paisas yesterday, having only 6 million shares traded in the first trading session at the local equity market. Now, this increase in discovery numbers as far as oil and gas recently, which was announced by OGDCL, this is going to bode well, because experts are saying that the banking stocks and also your energy stocks, they are in the limelight. Foreign investors are quite active in particularly these two scripts, and also the fear of NPLs that has also eased down after the latest statement by Finance Minister Mr. Shaukat Tareen. So banks would also have a very good movement at the local local equity markets. So foreign injection coming into the banking and energy scripts could increase in the coming quarter as well.
True, looking at the economic fundamentals of the banking sector, we've seen interest rates coming down in the past two monetary sessions. We've seen them coming down from about 15% to 13%, where the key discount rates are standing in Pakistan at the moment. Also going forward, we did see in the previous year that the advance to credit ratio did go down for Pakistani banking system. This is expected to pick up with interest rates coming down. Also going forward, NPL issue is also expected to be kept in check based on stringent measures which have been brought in by the central bank in order to make sure that NPLs do not go beyond a certain level, and especially to the level which they reached in the previous year. So we'll give you further analysis on that. More details to follow on the local equity market. We'll take a very short break here on Market Open. On the other side, opening for the market in the second trading session of the week, as well as some news on the electricity issues of the country right after this break. So do stay with us.